many books just in the last few decades have been written about, prediction of when the world is going to end and when Christ is going to return, right? There's been several books like this, all right? And a lot of them are bestsellers. But you know what the thing is none of them are accurate because nobody knows. So if somebody starts throwing out dates and all this stuff, you can know that they're lying because Jesus himself said, nobody knows. There's no way for you to know when Jesus is going to return. So don't waste your time on it. Is what he's saying. And you know what? I saw this happen more than ever before in 2020 because of the pandemic, right? The pandemic was happening. We had all this, racial injustice going on and all these protests and all this craziness going on in our culture. And everyone's like, oh, the world's ending. It's over. Jesus is coming back. And it's like, maybe. I don't know. There were some pretty crazy things that happened in the 60s. I don't know. There were pretty crazy things that happened during World War II. I don't know. There's some pretty crazy things that happened throughout history. I don't necessarily know if all this stuff is a sign of the end times. Maybe it's just a sign of the world's broken. I don't know when he's going to return. He could return tonight. He could return in 1,000 years. I don't know when he's going to return. But here's what I do know. In the meantime, he's called me to be a witness. So don't waste your time theorizing about what God's going to do in the future. Be faithful to what he has called you to do today. And here's the thing, guys, is we don't just do this with end time stuff, because that's kind of more of a Christian culture thing. People do this in all sorts of ways. They try to predict what God's going to do in the future, and it robs them of being faithful with what God's asked them to do today. So people ask this, God, when are you going to let me get married? God, when are you going to let me have kids? God, when are you going to let me get the job? When is the economy going to get better? Right? When is, this political climate going to change? Right? And it goes on and on and on. We ask God, when are you going to do this? What's the future going to look like? And God's saying, I got the future handled. What I want you to do is I want you to be faithful with what I've asked you to do.